This is not the story of a superhero. This is the story of a man who lost everything and fought 12 impossible battles to rebuild his soul. He was born with the blood of a god, but the curse of a mortal. Hercules, the son of the supreme god Zeus and the mortal woman Alcmene, was destined for greatness. But greatness always attracts hatred. The goddess Hera, consumed by jealousy, sent 2 venomous snakes to his crib when he was just a baby. He strangled them both before he could even walk. He was physically invincible. But true destruction doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. Years later, Hera poisoned his mind with a dark, hallucinating madness. In a blind rage, he destroyed his own home, killing the family he loved. When the madness cleared, he was left with hands soaked in blood and a shattered soul. He had to pay the ultimate price to cleanse his spirit. He had to face his own hell. The first labor, the Nemean lion, a beast with an impenetrable hide that broke every sword and snapped every arrow. This lion is the metaphor for the insurmountable trauma in your life, the problems you cannot solve with anger or standard weapons. Hercules dropped his weapons, cornered the beast, and strangled it with his bare hands. Then he used the lion's own claws to skin it, wearing its indestructible hide as armor. You cannot run from your deepest pain. You must face it barehanded, conquer it, and wear the trauma that failed to kill you as your strongest armor. Second labor, the Lerna Hydra, a venomous, multi-headed serpent lurking in the swamps. Cut off one head and 2 more grow back. This is your anxiety. This is the compounding nature of your debts, your addictions, and your panic. If you strike blindly at the chaos only multiplies. Hercules realized that brute force wasn't enough. He cut off the heads and immediately seared the stumps with fire. If you want to defeat the chaos in your life, you must stop fighting the symptoms. You must burn the root of the problem so it never grows back. Third labor, the Ceryneian hind, a sacred deer with golden antlers, so fast it could outrun arrows. He was ordered to capture it alive. This labor wasn't about violence. It was about relentless endurance. Hercules chased this beast for an entire year without stopping. Some goals in life cannot be destroyed or conquered by force. They require absolute, unwavering patience. To catch your ultimate prize, you must have the discipline to pursue it endlessly, matching its pace until it finally surrenders to your will. Fourth labor, the Erymanthian boar, a giant, destructive beast of pure, uncontrolled rage. To capture it alive, Hercules didn't fight it in the mud. He lured the beast to the high mountains, driving it deep into the thick snow where its massive weight and anger exhausted it. When you face blinding rage, either from an enemy or within yourself, do not meet it with more anger. Guide that destructive energy into the cold, deep snow of rational logic. Let the anger exhaust itself against your cold composure. Fifth labor, the Augean stables. A place filled with thousands of cattle, uncleared of toxic filth for 30 years. He was given one day to clean it. He didn't use a shovel. He smashed the walls and diverted 2 mighty rivers directly through the stables, washing away decades of rot in a single strike. This is the truth of personal transformation. You cannot clean a corrupted mind or a toxic life with minor adjustments. You need a flood. You must tear down the walls of your old self and let the rushing river of extreme discipline wash everything away. Sixth labor, the Stymphalian birds, man-eating creatures with razor-sharp metallic feathers hiding in a thick, dark swamp. You couldn't see them, but they were tearing him apart. They represent the toxic, chaotic, self-defeating thoughts hiding in the fog of your mind. Hercules used a divine rattle to make a deafening noise, forcing them out of the shadows into the clear sky, where he shot them down one by one. You must expose your dark thoughts. Bring your hidden fears into the light of awareness and silence them with sharp focus. Seventh labor, the Cretan bull, a beautiful but completely insane, rampaging beast destroying the island of Crete. This represents raw, chaotic passion and unchecked ego. Hercules didn't kill it. He wrestled it to the ground by its horns and rode it back across the sea. True power isn't about destroying your wild ambitions or your ego. It's about wrestling them into submission. Tame your inner beast. Take hold of the horns of your chaotic energy and ride it towards your own greatness. 8th labor, the mares of Diomedes. Terrifying, man-eating horses raised by a mad king. Hercules realized that the horses weren't evil by nature. They were corrupted by what they were fed. So he killed King Diomedes and fed him to his own horses, which instantly calmed them. The lesson is brutal, but true. You become the toxicity you consume. If you are surrounded by toxic environments or bad habits, you must ruthlessly destroy the source. Cut out the master of your bad habits, and your mind will find peace. 9th labor, the belt of Hippolyta, the fierce queen of the Amazons. The belt was a symbol of absolute authority and discipline. Hippolyta actually respected Hercules and agreed to give it to him. But a misunderstanding caused by Hera led to a bloody war. The message here is internal. Taking the belt means claiming your own sovereignty. To rule your own life, you must take the belt of self-discipline. But beware the illusions and misunderstandings that try to sabotage your peace. Claim your power, but do not let external noise force you into unnecessary wars. 10th labor, the cattle of Geryon, a 3-bodied monster living at the very edge of the known world. The journey itself was worse than the monster. As Heracles crossed the scorching African desert, he grew so exhausted and angry at the blistering heat that he drew his bow and shot an arrow directly at the sun. The sun god, Helios, was so impressed by this sheer audacity that he gave Heracles a golden chariot. When life pushes you past your breaking point, when the heat is unbearable, don't surrender. Have the audacity to shoot an arrow at the sun. Rebel against the pain. 11th labor, the golden apples of the Hesperides. To get them, Heracles had to take the place of the Titan Atlas, bearing the crushing weight of the entire universe on his shoulders. Atlas tried to trick him into holding it forever, but Heracles used his mind, tricking Atlas into taking the sky back. Being strong means you have the power to carry the weight of the world, to take responsibility for your family and your life. But being wise means knowing that you cannot carry everyone else's burden forever. You must know when to let the weight go. 12th and final labor, descend into Hades, the realm of the dead, and bring back Cerberus, the 3-headed hound of hell, using no weapons. This was the ultimate test. He had to walk into the abyss, look death itself in the eyes, wrap his arms around the beast of his deepest fears, and drag it into the light of day. When he emerged from that suffocating darkness with the hellhound in chains, he was no longer a mortal seeking redemption. He had tamed his own hell. He had mastered himself. Heracles completed his labors. He paid his price. But his end was not peaceful. It was a final test of will. Poisoned by the blood of a centaur soaking his shirt, he suffered unimaginable, burning agony. Instead of dying in misery, he built his own funeral pyre, climbed onto it alive, and ordered it to be lit. He chose to burn away the mortal flesh, the pain, and the trauma. Through that final fire, his mortal shell was destroyed, and his unbreakable spirit ascended to Olympus as an immortal god. This is the dark truth. When life poisons you, when the pain becomes unbearable, you don't surrender. You step into the fire of discipline and burn away your old, weak self. You forge yourself into something immortal. So, which of your 12 labors are you running from right now? Which beast are you afraid to face barehanded? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe to Listen to Emma. Step into your fire, pay your price, and stay unbreakable.